I can just barely hear the game. I might just have to turn it up a smidge here. Let's have a look-see here. I have not booted up this game in a hot second. And like I said, it is incredibly quiet. Maybe before I adjust audio levels, I should actually load into the game. So, they added new content to Xenoblade Chronicles here. There is now Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. Which is like, alright, top 10 lies in video game history, then Definitive Edition. And there's Definitive Edition and Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. That's the actual Definitive Edition. So, whatever there. So, what with the announcement of Xenoblade Genesis, they had previously put out a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Xenoblade Chronicles X, since that's a game that just released last year on the Switch, like right before the Switch 2 came out, and then they added a Switch 2 edition. And now it seems like they're adding Switch 2 editions for Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3. So all 3 games you'll be able to play at like 60 FPS, and, as an excuse for essentially having a graphics and frame rate upgrade, they did add a little smidge of new content. And so I wanted to showcase that little smidge of new content here. I don't know how I'm going to decide what part this is after the fact. Hello, Cam. How's it going? Do I not have my chat on? Oh, no, I do. It's just that I missed that message by a hot second. I don't know what I'm going to do, because back when I first played Xenoblade 1 and 2 on this channel, like original Xenoblade 1, I did it in such a way where I was playing them both together. So it's like part 1 to 3 was Xenoblade 1, part 4 to 6 was Xenoblade 2, part 7 and 8 was Xenoblade 1, something like that. It was all over the place. And then when Definitive Edition came out, I did another full playthrough of Xenoblade Chronicles, now showcasing the Definitive Edition and 100%ing the game. And to keep it consistent so it could insert into that same alongside 2 thing that I did, I made my part numbers all weird and all over the place. So, I don't know if I would just make this, I think it went up to part like 140, something like that, if I would make this part 141, or what the heck I would do for 2. It just seems weird, because that Xenoblade 1-2 Torna project that I did like forever ago, it was forever ago, and I made my part numbers kind of weird and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I should go back to all my Xenoblade Definitive thumbnails and redo them from part 1, I don't know. But, point is, if this goes onto YouTube after the fact and it says part 1, it would just be like part 1 of showcasing the new Switch 2 edition content. This is like off of my existing save file here. And I already have like a full playthrough of this game that would be linked in the description here. There's new content in this game, and this came out like a month ago, and I'm a little bit tardy to the party. News update. Extra content includes high frame rate and resolution support, rumble during key events, and the EtherJet vehicle, new gear, and a new minigame. For more details, select extra content from the system menu. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, version 2.0.0. And for a little bit of other background here, man, I'm so not used to seeing like this kind of frame rate as we move around the title screen here. For a little bit of other context here, in less than a month is Fragapalooza 2026, which is actually the 30th anniversary of the event, which is, a pretty big milestone there. And because it's the 30th anniversary, I didn't just want to do tournaments for a single game. I wanted to do multi-game tournaments. So I'm doing a multi-fighting game tournament, and I'm doing a multi-kart racing tournament. And so I want to play a whole whack ton of kart racing games before Fragapalooza, and a whole whack ton of fighting games before Fragapalooza. Because I gotta be at least a little smidge familiar with all these games and be able to explain the controls to people if I'm running tournaments for them, instead of just being like, I don't know! So, we had put it to a vote in the Discord what kind of next 24-hour cherry stream we wanted to do. That's going to be next weekend. It's going to be a multi-fighting game 24-hour cherry stream. So, this weekend, before that point, I'm just going to be going hard on kart racing games. And this sort of classifies as that. I'm starting out this stream that I'm probably going to do a whole bunch of kart racing games in. I'm going to start out this stream with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. One, because I've been kind of long overdue in doing this, and now that I'm done with Xenosaga 2, this is a good thing to put in before my next Xenosaga playthrough. And 2, this technically counts as kart racing stuff. When is the last time I loaded this save file was 2023. It was an autosave, apparently. 6 minutes after the... And this is my last hard save, so this is probably what I actually want. It's my clear data. Load save game data. It's also occurring to me that I'm wearing my other hat. This hat's in a little bit better shape than my main one, but it's not quite right. The white goes all the way up to the top. So I usually wear it when I'm just going out and about day to day in the world. And I wore it when I was going and walking the doggy earlier. We're dog sitting the neighbor's doggy because they're away right now. So I went and walked the doggy and I wore the other hat. But for stream, I may as well wear my more iconic one here. New content Etherjet. Quest for the Etherjet. A new character has taken up residence at the Bionis Leg refugee camp. Speak to her to begin a new quest. Complete this quest and you should be in for quite a treat. Okay, should be my only quest considering I should have like every other one done. Also, obviously, in case anyone is checking this out without having played Xenoblade Chronicles, full spoilers, obviously. Like even just by the weapon that you'll see Shulk have. It's a little bit of spoilery stuff. But yeah, I can show you here really quickly. This is my general plan for the Fragapalooza kart racing tournament. So I want to deal with these different rounds in pairs. So it's like every round is a different game, but across the winners and losers side, have it be like pairs. So have like the modern games on the winner's side and some more classic games. I don't know if 2012 I'd call classic, but you know what I mean. The older games there will be on the loser side, but be like equivalents, be like IP equivalents here. And then it's also really easy on me because then I can keep all of winner's side on my Switch 2 and all of loser's side on my Wii U. I have a custom firmware Wii U, and I've been rigging up GameCube games to work on it for reference, in case anyone's looking at that and are like, what the heck, you can't play GameCube games on there? You sure can with mine. So, we're starting out with Mario Kart World, and loser side of Mario Kart Wii as a nice little pair there, and that was a little bit of a pain in the butt to get working on my Wii U with GameCube controllers, because it was not meant to work on the Wii U with GameCube controllers, it was meant to work on the Wii with GameCube controllers, and it turns out it was harder to get that working than you would have thought, but I got it figured out. Then, Sonic Racing Cross World, so maybe I'll stream some of that later tonight, I don't know. And Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed for the Wii U. Pretty solid title, I remember playing that back when. This is a Switch game rather than a Switch 2 game, but I figured like Crash makes another good pair of games that I can have across these two consoles. So Crash Nitro Kart and Crash Nitro Fueled. And of course like Kirby Air Riders and Kirby Air Ride. And then I wanted to finish off with Mario Kart 64 on a Nintendo 64, because 1997 is the year Fragapalooza started. It's the year that we are celebrating like a 30-year anniversary of this event for, so it's really fitting. Also, this technically came out in 1996 in Japan, but we're gonna worry about like the NA release here. So that's my general plan. So I own all these games, I have them all at the ready. I'll do some damage to them tonight, and I'll keep on doing damage tomorrow, I guess. I want to have a decent bit of coverage of all of these on the channel. I already have Mario Kart World, Kirby Air Riders, and Kirby Air Ride. I don't have any of these other ones. I have a little smidge of Sonic Racing Cross Worlds from a previous LAN event when I was lent a copy of it. So, I'm about to do a bunch of kart racing games, but we're gonna start out with Xenoblade. I'm not running Xenoblade at this at this kart racing tournament. This is a strictly single player thing, but I do understand that there's like time trials in this. Also, I might just run bonus rounds, I'm thinking of. Because we're probably not going to get, like, a perfectly divisible by 4 amount of players, we're probably not going to get a perfect, like, power of 2, I should say. So, like, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, stuff like that. There's going to be some rounds that don't have 4 players playing, and will instead be, like, 3 players who might have a mix. But I want to keep winner's side to 4 players to keep it more fiercely competitive as much as possible. So I was thinking that, let's say this is a non-divisible by 4 number. Like, let's say this is 15 players that moved on to round 2 here. I want to bump that up to 16. So how I do that is I take all the first place finishers of the last losers round, have them play like another completely different game, and then whoever wins that, like the top X amount of people that win that make this divisible by 4 again, go there. So you have like a redemption round is kind of my idea there, and then it keeps 4 people on winner's side. And it lets me showcase more kart racing games, because I prepared a whole bunch on my Wii U. So I've got things like frickin' Hello Kitty Cruisers, the slowest kart racing game you'll ever see in your life. I got Pac-Man World Rally for the GameCube. I got some interesting ones here. There's a more party game kind of styled crash racing game for the GameCube where you like merge your karts into one another and then shoot the other racers. It's wild. Garfield Kart I would, but the trouble is I would have to play that on PC. The nice thing about this is I can keep all of winner's side on my Switch 2 and all of loser's side on my Wii U until I pull out the N64 for this. But we will probably need to have a PC on the stage for the fighting game tournament that I'll be doing immediately after this anyway. So if there's a PC set up on the stage anyway, then I think it is on console. I just don't think I can get it on my Wii U. Unless it isn't on Switch, is it? Could I, in theory, do that? Anyway, I'm not going to lock in what any of these bonus rounds are, because I don't even know if they're going to go on, because what if the next round is divisible by 4, after all? So I'm just going to kind of play it by ear and be like, what would be silly to run? But that is actually a good question, now that you mention it. Let's get completely distracted from Xenoblade here. In terms of the Xeno series, Xenoblade Genesis was announced, which kind of confirms to me that, like, Xenoblade Chronicles is done. Like, they're done telling that story, and now they're moving on to the next Xeno game. But keeping Xenoblade, interestingly enough, they just dropped the Chronicles. Garfield Kart 2 is on. It's 50% off. It's on sale right now if I want to pick it up for my Switch 2, and I don't have to literally switch around the the freaking inputs on stage mid-tournament, which would be a pain in the butt. I could spend $20 and save myself a lot of pain. I heard that this one's like the bad one. The one that I own on PC is the first one. There was the first one, and then there was that other one that we saw on the screen, which is like on the right. And then there's this one that I hear is like the bad one, though. But maybe that's what could make it funny. I don't think people care about playing like the best games at Fragapalooza. They care about coming up and like having fun messing around. Does it say how long the sale is going on for? That is actually tempting now. Because this is going to be a console that's up on the stage, and therefore it would be pretty easy for me to run, then I don't have to switch things to a PC. Tempting. Also, in case you're wondering why Luigi's Mansion 3 is a recent game here, I might have been at a baseball game a couple days ago that had I'm not into sports at all, that had an Italian plumber theme, and I might have gone in my Luigi Ghostbuster cosplay with Luigi's Mansion loaded into my Switch. And then I ordered these two games recently from Video Games Plus. I was waiting for Sonic Racing Crossworlds to go on a sale before Fragapalooza, so I got this on sale. And while I was buying it anyway, I was like, this actually looks really funny, and I've had some friends like really recommend it to me, especially with like the lack of filters. I don't know when I'll have time to play it, but I could see myself doing a playthrough of this on the channel one day, because it does look really, really funny. So anyway, yeah, so it seems to be there. Honestly, it just looks like a Garfield Mario Kart reskin. Could be the move, though, getting Garfield Kart 2 there. Maybe. Quest for the Ether Jet. Oh, the frame rate! Oh my god! Oh, I'm so not used to playing Xenoblade Chronicles in 60 FPS. This feels weird. But heck yeah, man. Imagine if I got an iceberg lettuce right there, how rare that would have been. So, yeah, even though that this is like a new enhanced version of the game and I can play it with like better graphics and better frame rate, I'm not doing another full playthrough of this game. I've already played through Xenoblade 1 fully twice on the channel, and 100%ing it the second time. I've played enough Xenoblade 1 on this channel. What was I about to say here? That being said, this is kind of cool. And I remember when I played Xenoblade 1 Original on the channel before Definitive Edition was announced. I played it on an emulator, and therefore I got to play it in 60 FPS and with a little bit of better graphics. And so when I was playing Definitive Edition, I was like, man, the graphics are better. But it kind of sucks that I can't play in 60 FPS like I'm used to. Or maybe I'm getting mixed up with Xenoblade Chronicles X, because I definitely remember that being the case when I played Xenoblade X Definitive, after I had done one on an emulator on my PC, and I was like, man, if only the frame rate could be better, and now it can be better on Switch 2. It's kind of how I'm feeling about this, where it's like, one of my favorite games of all time is 60 FPS now. And I think this is 2160p? It's either 2160p or 4K. I don't think you'd be able to tell on YouTube because of me streaming this to Twitch, where this comes from here. You know, it has a limited bitrate here. I mean, maybe you notice if I stand still enough, and then you get, like, better resolution. Of course, when I move my camera, like, it's not going to be quite as good because the pixels are changing. But you know how it be. So, yeah. It's also really interesting in that I think Xenoblade Chronicles has to be, like, the biggest range I've ever seen in any video game ever in terms of, like, the range of different graphics options you can play it at. You can play it at, I think it's 2040p on the 3DS. You can play it at 480p on the Wii or Wii U. You can play it at, I think it's 720p on the Switch. Or maybe it's 1080p, I don't know. And then you're playing it either 2160p or 4K. I don't know what this is. I don't even think my monitor goes up to 4K, so I don't know what this is. Yeah, Wii was 4080. Wii was 4080, so you played the original Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii, and, you know, environments and stuff like that from afar still looked really cool, but, like, you zoom in on any details and it doesn't exactly look good. So, Yeah, isn't that crazy? You can play this same game at 240p as an official release on your 3DS. Same game, outside of, like, you know, visual enhancements and a little bit more content with Definitive Edition. I haven't played Xenoblade in, like, forever. Oh yeah, apparently one other enhancement that I heard about with this game is apparently you can, like, change over your control scheme to, like, so I can select extra content. So, one of the biggest issues with Xenoblade 1 and X is, in other games, you just hit your face buttons to do your different arts. You can hit them, like, anytime. But in Xenoblade 1 and X, you had to use your D-pad left and right to select what art you had at the bottom of the screen. Like, if I can lock onto someone here. There's no one to lock onto around here. Let me just slide down this way. So you couldn't really move while you were, selecting your arts, unless you do, like, a weird thing with your other thumb to be selecting the D-pad. Where the heck is an enemy? Hold on, let me go to Gower Plains and we'll see an enemy. How do I check the... Man, it has been literally years since I played this game. I didn't even have this cartridge until recently here. I had it lent out. So I need to go to the refugee camp anyway, it said, for the quest, I'm pretty sure. So hold on, let's just go here. Xenoblade Chronicles, the game that Nintendo of America never wanted to publish, that somehow ended up re-releasing and remonetizing on every post-2012 console. Yeah, isn't that crazy? But yeah, I actually own a sealed copy of Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. It's on my shelf back there. Oh, a little bit of a frame rate dip there for a second. Oh, I definitely feel a frame rate dip, and I wonder if there's graphics in performance mode. Anyway, I can move, or I can select my arts here. Like that. Move, stop, select my arts, keep moving, and it was a little bit awkward. Apparently, on the Switch 2 Pro controller, you can remap those to be like the back buttons on the back of the controller here. So you can move while you're cycling arts like that. And you have, like, more freedom to gameplay than you've had before. What options do I have? Is there, like, a, Hold on. Camera, no. Display settings? Controls, display, minimap fixed. Nope. Game settings, okay, no. Casual mode. Combat will be easier, setting will only affect this save file. Because it definitely felt like the frame rate would briefly dip there. Like, it's generally 60, but it seems like it's briefly dipping. I heard criticism of this version of the game having frame rate inconsistency, unfortunately. That sucks! Whoa, yeah, you can tell when it dips. Like, it's smooth here. Whoa, a little bit of a dip there. Like, come on, really? Yeah, I lock on and there's a brief dip. Sometimes. That's unfortunate. But hey, at least it is, like, better graphics and frame rate than before. But yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. I was really hoping to be able to consistently hit 60. Especially considering this was a freaking Wii game that they got working on the 3DS. Admittedly, new 3DS, but still. So you'd think that they'd be able to have that all figured out, so that's a little bit disappointing. So extra content, let's see here. So the things that we've got going on here, get set for the Ether Jet. This is an Ether Jet! Get set for the Ether Jet. Complete a specific quest adds to the main game to acquire the Ether Jet, a vehicle that lets you crash the mobile artillery into the house. Lets you zip across the land with ease. Can't find the quest, try looking around the refugee camp. Yeah, I will do that. Nupon Grand Prix minigame. Yeah, let's just run this in my kart racing tournament at Fragapalooza. Let's run the Nupon Grand Prix. Nupon Grand Prix minigame. Once you have the Ether Jet, you can also compete in score attack and battle race modes. Each course offers a new piece of gear. I guess it's those outfits there. Apparently all the heart-to-hearts are voice acted now. So apparently they brought back all the original voice actors to voice all the heart-to-hearts that weren't voice acted originally. And that's pretty cool there. I saw people posting all sorts of clips of, like, voice lines that we just didn't have before in the game. Especially a lot of Ricky's ones. New equipment. New equipment has been added for the main cast. Flaunt a fresh new fashion for all of Bionis to see. Coordinate your outfit to unleash the Ether Jet's full potential. Okay, more immersive events. Key events in the main story and future connected now include Rumble. Wait, so it rumbles your controller during the cutscene. Plus heart-to-hearts are now fully voiced. Event cutscenes support a high frame rate and resolution too. Pretty cool. Maybe we'll have to rewatch some cutscenes in, like, the high frame rate and resolution. You can scan Amiibo each day to receive EXP, items, and more. Well, my EXP is maxed out here. Amiibo bonuses can be redeemed up to 3 times per day. Scan a Shulk, Pyra, Mithra, Noah, or Mio Amiibo for a nice surprise. I have the first 3, but they're all in the boxes. I never picked up a Noah or Mio Amiibo. I have the double pack of Pyra and Mithra, and I have a Shulk amiibo. Unless I did take that one out of the box. I don't remember. I might have, actually. Is it on my shelf here somewhere? If I look up, I have a whole bunch of amiibo up there. I don't think I did. I think it's in a box somewhere. I know that in the far corner of my shelf up there is my Pyra and Mithra amiibo. But yeah. Like, I understand Rumble for, like, in the middle of gaming, but for, like, watching a cutscene, that's a point where I put my controller in my lap or I put it on the table. I don't want to be watching a cutscene and, like, taking it in and being like, oh yeah, that's cool. Then all of a sudden my table just goes, you know? That's not really something I need. So, amiibo? I can touch a different amiibo, though, is what I can do. So if it's an exclusive bonus for the other ones, I can always make, like, custom NFC tags and tap them. Get those different bonuses that way if I need to. Let's tap my Wolf Link. What does it do? Bonus EXP earned. That is useless to me. Let's tap my Bimeth amiibo. Walnut, Grape, Hill, Firefly, Blue Sky, Bark, Devious Gravity, Spicy Cabbage. And then take all, I guess. What happens if I quit? And then finally, let's tap my Corn amiibo. How about? I don't know. Okay. Juicy Broccoli, Walnut, Grape, Queen Locust, Rusty Bolt, Death Bangle. No Ice Cabbage, so it's useless to me. Okay. Have my camera follow me down. But yeah, understand some immersion stuff, but just seems really annoying to me. Yeah, I just don't like it in cutscenes there. Have an amiibo controller, as in a controller with NFC data for all of them on it. I've heard about that before. About people making that kind of stuff. How did you obtain the concept of gravity? That's a good question there. But yeah, in my... I think I just have it in my... I put it in here somewhere. Here they are. I just have like a whole packet of NFC tags, and I like to have these because I like to put amiibo data on them and stick them onto trophies that I give out. So the trophies that I've been working on for Fragapalooza 30 here, for example, which are still a work in progress, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt here, but put a couple pieces together, take a star. They're gonna look something, well, if I rotate this the right way, actually, so it doesn't look so awkward. Wow, they're gonna look something like this. And I have, like, the 1997 to 2026 at the top here. I have a little slot in the bottom there that I made sure to keep hollowed out during the 3D print to specifically put amiibo in it. So I like having, like, actual NFC tags around, because I like to stick them onto trophies that if you win a trophy in one of my tournaments, you can tap the trophy onto a controller like it's an amiibo, because it basically is. So, I do like me some amiibo tags there. I don't know what I do for, like, this kart racing tournament. Do, like, one of Mario, one of Sonic, one of Kirby, something like that. I don't know. Wow, look at all that. That is actually a pretty decent amount of EXP there, if I remember the EXP in this game properly. Isn't there, like, a quick button to access the map? Yeah, it's Y. Yeah. I've 100%ed the game, but look. There's a quest I haven't done. Isn't that crazy? What else might be important to mention here? Like I was saying, in terms of the Xeno series, before Xenoblade Genesis comes out, I want to get through the rest of the Xeno series. So after I wrapped up Xenoblade X Definitive, I started playing Xenosaga. So I played through Xenosaga 1. Then I played through Xenosaga Freaks, which is one of the weirdest spin-offs I've ever played. And then I played through Xenosaga Episode 2, which what is that weird dot on the... Is that the texture on the thing over there? Why is it bouncing? Why is it weirdly bouncy over there? I played through Xenosaga Episode 2, which I only just finished a few days ago. And I kind of figured, oh yeah, I'm kind of tired to the party on Xenoblade 1. Let's just finish Xenosaga Episode 2, and then I'll do this Xenoblade 1 stuff. Oh, because you're the quest giver. That's what's bouncy. It's not just grass like I thought it might be. So I want to do this, and then I want to start playing Xenosaga Pied Piper, which is a spin-off that's actually important to the overall story. And then I plan to start Xenosaga Episode 3 soon. And then it's probably going to be during my Xenosaga 3 playthrough that, the Xenoblade 2 stuff. Actually, wait, no. I was thinking about playing Xenosaga Episode 3 starting at Fragapalooza if I have the time. But if memory serves, I think the Xenoblade 2 new content actually comes out at the end of this month. Yeah, July 30th is the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Switch 2 edition content. Which means I could do this, like, Xenosaga Episode 2, done. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Switch 2. Xenosaga Pied Piper. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Switch 2 content. Xenosaga 3. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Switch 2 edition content. I might actually try to do that. And then it keeps things nice and, like, segmented in my Xeno playlist where there isn't, like, multiple things going on at the same time. These nice natural breaks. I'm actually going to try and do that now, maybe. But yeah, make it Gold Mario. It's no different than a regular Mario in function, except in Mario Maker 1. I could do that, but no one would ever know that it's a Gold Mario tag, I don't think. Yahoo! Inspirations! Ideas bubble gray matter with brilliance! Also, it looks like Xenoblade Genesis might be the new equivalent of Xenogears. A lot of people have been analyzing the trailer and noticing a lot of parallels to Xenogears. So a lot of people are thinking that it might serve as the narrative equivalent of Xenogears in this new canon that Takahashi's doing, considering he doesn't have the rights to Xenogears, so he needs something to kind of take its place. So I kind of want to play through the original Xenogears before Xenoblade Genesis comes out. So I'm going to try to wrap up Xenosaga by the end of this year if I can, and then maybe early next year, maybe I start Xenogears. We'll see how the time works out. Also, look at Ricky, my pineapple Ricky in the tree in the background there. He's not with the crowd, he got in the tree somehow, doing a dance. Amazing. I didn't expect to find a nup on here. Wouldn't you rather be with the others at the camp? Yeah, what are you doing here all by yourself? I can't do frickin' Rain. I can't do any of these guys. I also just pronounced it Rain like I'm IGN. Uh-huh. And who might friends be? I'm Shulk, and these are my friends, Ryan and Sharla. Hope we weren't interrupting anything. Well, what's your name, if you don't mind? Oh-ho! Friends P's and Q's well-minded, not raised in barn like other hum-hum. For such polite friends, I give full intro spiel. Gifted with gizmos, talented with toolbox, known by all as very ingenious inventor. Okay, name not quite catch on yet, but friends spread word, yes? Can do. A very idiotic inventor, was it? Oh, this hum-hum clearly from aforementioned barn of rudeness. Rude friends soon change tune. Unveil of world-changing whatchamaching very near. Don't meet a nup-hun inventor every day. You're not like the others, are you? Friend make very astute observation. Inventor career start back in Colony 6. Took single look at Buggy, that hum-hum little pond trundle about with all of sudden, zap crash of inspirations. But inspirations not solve last problem of making thing move. Real bond scratcher. Guess it ain't much use if it don't move. What should we do, Shulk? Well, I suppose I know a few things about tinkering with machines. Maybe I could be of help? My girlfriend is a machine after all. Ha, know a few things, do you? Nah, you're obsessed, man. Well-mannered friend, generous to boot. This hum-hum full packet, I can't words. Here's dilemma. So, what friends think? Yeah, I think I see the issue. You're after a power source with both massive output and great longevity. She don't ask for much, does she? Actually, I think I know where we could find something like that. You do? Where? Yeah, in the hangar where Ryan, Fiora, and I went to get those ether cylinders way at the beginning of the game. Oh, I know the one. The cylinder hangar at the back of Tefra Cave, yeah? Yeah, the cylinders there should be up to the task. They're as pure as they come. Yahoo! Polite and generous friend tell truth? Huh, I never knew Colony 9 had a supply of ether cylinders right on their doorstep. I suppose that explains how they kept some strong defense systems operational. Alright, let's go get our mitts on some ether cylinders, shall we? Yeah. Yahoo! Future of science, all up to friends now! It can't be a Xenogears replacement, not unless it is Giant Mecha. Hasn't that been the case with literally every Xeno game, though? Like, I'm sure Xenoblade Genesis will have Giant Mecha. Like, freaking Xenogears, Giant Mecha, obviously. Xenosaga, the AGWS, the eggs as they were called. Xenosaga 2 and 3, the ESs. Xenoblade Chronicles, the Mechon. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the Artifices. Xenoblade 3 didn't actually have mechanical mechs, it had the flesh mechs, the Ouroboros. Xenoblade Chronicles X had the Skells. So, freaking every Xeno game has them, because Takahashi is just obsessed with them. Like, there's no freaking way Xenoblade Genesis doesn't have, like, giant mechs somehow. Like, you can't get enough of them. Requested by Nuppon Engineer, world-changing whatchamajig. Find the materials needed to complete the world-changing whatchamajig. To progress this quest, you must shulk Rain and Charlotte in your party. Okay, fine, I can do that. I guess I have to select this here. Here we go. Go ahead and put that party together. There was something else I was going to say about this game. Oh, yeah. How torrent of perspicity inflate ego decides bulbous. Rewatching the Genesis trailer, I completely forgot how the world seems just like the Vortex world from SMT Nocturne. Oh. Ooh, I love me some big robots. I mean, who doesn't, to be fair? Can you blame Takahashi? Okay, so Colony 9, and there's probably a waypoint for way up there. Oh, mech on a wreckage site. It'd be this one here, Cylinder Hangar. I guess one other thing that oh yeah, I remember what I was going to mention here. So, in addition to showcasing the new Nintendo Switch 2 content of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I do also, after Xenosaga is done, want to play a little bit more of Xenoblade 2, namely the Blade missions for Cosmos and Telos, considering they're Xenosaga characters. And so while I've probably played them before, I want to play them now having played through Xenosaga and having the context of whatever references are made. So when I play through the frickin' Cosmos and Telos quest lines in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it'll be in the Switch 2 version, and it'll have, like, enhanced graphics and frame rate, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I figure I may as well do that at the end of my Xenosaga series there. Combining robots? Love them. Single robots? Love them. Vortex World is basically just like how the world of Genesis looks like it's the inside of a ball, if you know what I mean. I remember seeing that in the Genesis trailer, and, you know, some people commenting on it being close to Xenogears there. Also, no Nuppon in the trailer, which is blasphemous, but maybe they just wanted that for Xenoblade Chronicles, or something like that. When they do, like, their whole weird multiverse thing, we'll get Nuppon from the Chronicles worlds. I don't know. The other thing that I can mention here really quickly is, I added something new to the channel that took me, like, the past 2 days of programming on and off. So, as some may know, about a couple months ago here, so I'm a little bit overdue on this as well, Guzma, the crazy mad lad, ended up gifting me a VTuber model that he commissioned. Now, I had never thought that I would do, like, a VTuber kind of thing, considering I have, like, a camera and background that I like. Oh yeah, I've also forgotten to mention for the last several streams, my freaking Evolution poster frame thing fell. I got back from my time out of town, and it's fallen off the wall. You can see, like, the little edge of my Xenoblade 1 poster that it's blocking, and my Xenoblade 2 and 3 ones. It's just, completely covering. So, oops. Anyway, I like my background, I like my camera and stuff. So I never really thought that I'd do much VTubing, but he gifted me a freaking VTuber model that he commissioned, and I was like, okay, I should probably put it to use somehow, and I should probably get it to use before this 24-hour charity stream next weekend. So I've been working on it for the past 2 days, and assuming it doesn't break in real use, there is a new channel point reward where you can activate VTuber, where, let's test this in a real stream and make sure it works. I've got infinite points, so I can just do this for free. So if I redeem that, like, my account just says VTuber mode enabled, launching now, and then it launches the software. That way it doesn't actually need to run in the background, like, during every stream, just on the off chance that someone redeems it. It just straight up launches it whenever I whenever I do that there. Because cameras are exclusive things and that only one software can use them at the time, I set up my old secondary camera on my monitor here. So I've got another camera, like, here right now that, the cable doesn't reach that far, take my word for it, to be VTuber camera, if this launches up there. Hold on. Turn that off. It's launching here. Give it a hot second. It's taking longer than it did in testing since I'm actually streaming now. Oh, look at that! Give it a second. Oh my god, it's really lagging my computer in a real setting. Holy crap. Look at this! This is what that freaking Mad Lad Guzma got commissioned and sent to me. So that in a moment, it moves and stuff there. The arms are a little glitchy. I might need to work out some stuff. And then I rigged it up so that when VTuber mode is going here, there's new redemptions that that you can redeem with points that throw things at me, like a fish, for example, or a duck. And then whenever the VTuber mode is done and it goes off, these redemptions go away so that nobody wastes their points while there's nothing on screen. So I've made a means for people to throw things at me, essentially. I went a little bit more ham on some of these point redemptions, like this Pokemon one. So I did a decent few things. A pretty good one is the hydrate one. So there's some interesting things that you can do. Anyway, but I think the best one might just be the Solonge Bowser, because it does this.
Solonge Bowser.
Anyway, I'm just gonna manually end it this time. I'm not gonna let it do like the actual full thing. So let me just go ahead and deactivate it now. Like that. Okay, so that's what I spent the past 2 days working on here. Can you believe it? So that was a bit of a pain in the ass, but I got it figured out with some crazy logic in my computer. So that is now in play around here. And maybe it'll make for some fun stuff during the 24-hour charity stream next weekend. I don't know.